I'm here with Louis L. Reed. He is with Dream Corps, the organization founded by Van Jones. He used to work in the Obama administration and helped pass the First Step Act, historic criminal justice reform passed in December 2018. So, Louis, thank you for being here with us. I guess my question to you is, what are you doing at CPAC, and what do you hope to accomplish here?
Well, look, as someone who leans left, one of the things that I espouse is that Republicans at their best believe in liberty, Democrats at their best believe in justice, and all of us at our best should be believing in liberty and justice for all, specifically around the issue of criminal justice reform. As someone who served nearly 14 years in federal prison, the issue around criminal justice reform in our country is paramount and top of mind to me.
So I will say, it seemed like there was an appetite for criminal justice reform among conservatives, and it seemed as soon as after George Floyd was killed and after all of the rioting, it seemed that disappeared. Now you hear law and order, you hear police, police, police. Do you think that there's anything left for conservatives?
Without question, so long as you have black, brown, and poor white folks in this country who are being shot down by police, who are being over criminalized, who are literally being locked out of opportunities, there's going to be an appetite. Look, we need to create a springboard to success for people who have been impacted by a criminal justice system rather than perpetuating a trapdoor to failure. And that's what my message here at CPAC is talking about. How can we create these opportunities for people who've been impacted by a criminal legal system?
And how can we? I mean, we had the First Step Act, which was first. So what comes next?
Well, there's a lot of things that come next after the First Step Act. Number one, we have to do implementation. We got nearly 16,000 people out of federal prison as a result of the First Step Act. Look, that means that there's 500,000 years of human freedom restored back into our communities. These people went home, but where's the opportunities for them? How do we get them engaged in reentry? How do we get them engaged in employment opportunities? How do we get them engaged in housing? How do we get them access to mental and social health services that they desperately need? And so there's so much more work to be done, and that is the reason why we are here. That is the reason why we are lifting up this the issue of criminal justice reform. And that is the reason why we're going to continue to work across party lines to make sure that we can coalesce people around this issue and continue to move it forward.
So are you encouraged or discouraged by kind of the messaging you've seen from the conservative movement in recent months on this issue, on policing, on sentencing, on that sort of thing?
Well, look, I have the spring of the resiliency. I have the resiliency of a spring in a ballpoint pen. And so I can never be discouraged. When you've served nearly 14 years in federal prison, you've literally been at the bottom. And so one of the things I always say is that my worst day out here, my most frustrating day out here is better than my best day when I was on the inside. And so long as you have people of goodwill continuing to come to the table, continuing to have conversations, continuing to say, look, we know that this is an issue, and so long as the issue is there is still hope to move that forward. And that is why we at Dream Corps Justice, formerly known as Cut 50, that is why we have the nation's largest bipartisan coalition of impacted organizers and advocates called the Empathy Network, literally organizing in all four corners of our country and everywhere in the middle to raise issues around this very topic.
And my last question for you, how would you compare kind of what you've seen on this issue under the Trump administration to now under the Biden administration?
Well, look, the previous administration, while they are not without criticism on some issues, one of the things that we cannot deny them on, and it's irrefutable, is that they have demonstrated leadership around criminal justice reform. And so they have they've literally left this current administration without excuse. If the Trump administration can do it, then anyone can do it. And so as it relates to what we are trying to work with this current White House on is the continuation, is the perpetuation of the First Step Act. We need a First Step and a Half Act. We need a First Step Act 2.0. We need a First Step Act 10.0. We need an updated version. We need a software update to our criminal justice system. And I think that the Trump administration left this current administration without excuse to do anything.
And my last question. But look, Joe Biden campaigned a lot on criminal justice reform. He had some issues where, he was hard on crime, and then he, tried to switch and say, look, I'm actually pro-reform. Has he fulfilled his promises yet, or is he at least on track to do that?
I don't think that any one person can fulfill a promise of more than 40 years specifically of systemic racism and, quite frankly, mass incarceration. We've seen a balloon in our mass incarceration system literally over the last 40 years. So no one person can fulfill that commitment. One of the things that we are doing at Dream Corps Justice is we are organizing the National Day of Empathy. It's happening Tuesday, March 2nd, where we are literally highlighting the need all across our country for criminal justice reform. We have organizers in 40 events this year. We have more than 118 artists, athletes, and actors who are going to be participating in it. I'll try to say that 3 times fast next time. And we are literally raising the issue around criminal justice reform. So you've heard about National Juvenile Diabetes Day. You've heard about National Breast Cancer Awareness Day. This is the day that we have mobilized around social and criminal justice reform.
I really appreciate your time. Louis L. Reed, thank you.
Louis L. Reed, thanks. My daddy would be proud.
Hey guys, did you know we have a podcast called WJ Live?
The Western Journal's mission is to equip readers with the truth, and that's the same mission we have on WJ Live.
You'll hear from writers, editors, and special guests on the most important topics of the day.
You can watch us every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on youtube.com/WJ Live.
While you're there, help us out by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. See you there.